Ladies, gamers, and gentlemen, welcome to another BelleNOiR's Starcraft 2 cast. This time we're going to be looking at iNcontroL versus Kelazhur, a PvT on Whirlwind. In the top right position, we have the red Terran player from North America. It is going to be Kelazhur. And in the bottom left, it is going to be the very well-known player from Evil Geniuses, also of North America. It is the blue Protoss player, EG's iNcontroL, aka Jeff Robinson. And, well, Whirlwind, I'm going to take a little bit of time to talk about the map. It is a fairly large map. So, you know, as a large map, and as large maps tend to do, it kind of implies that both of these players will at least try to go for a macro game. The distances are fairly long. There's a lot of bases both of the players can be taking. Here is a natural, and then depending on where your opponent spawns, you can take either this one or this one as your third base. And especially in these positions, I mean, it is not uncommon for Terran players to try and go command center first. Let's see if this is going to be the case with Kelazhur. Looks like it is, as he is saving up quite a lot of minerals for the time being. So command center first is a really greedy economic opening, but at the same time, especially on this map, quite safe. But as I say that, we see iNcontroL taking a double gas here very quickly on 15 and 16, and that might imply that he will be taking up rather quickly here. Now, I have not seen this replay beforehand, so I cannot tell what is going to happen, but with this opening that Kelazhur is doing, he could be vulnerable to quite a number of things, not the least of which is very fast Colossi, or maybe even a Stargate play. His barracks timing is 1 minute later than, or 1.5 minutes later than normally it would have been with a barracks first opening. And this probe is going to see just what is up, sees the command center. iNcontroL does not even need to go all the way inside the base of the red Terran player because he knows what is up. Just going to duke it out with this SCV for a little while here before retreating when his shields are depleted, and let's see what his reaction is going to be. Is he going to try and counter expand to nullify the economic advantage that his opponent is going to try and go for, or will he just try and pressure? And oh, this could very well be proxy Stargate here. We have already a proxy pylon going down to the left side of the Terran player's natural. The bunker is in production though, and well, Kelazhur pretty much is, if this is a proxy Stargate with the Stalker traversing the map and trying to put on a little bit of pressure, then Kelazhur will need to make a decision where he puts his army. He's not getting an engineering bay yet. Instead, he's getting a third barracks, which will boost his marine production considerably. Stalker is going to be a very sad panda here because he does find that there's a bunker there with 3 marines and will have to back away. Kelazhur, not being afraid, going to go out and try to hunt down that Stalker, and then reconsidering, as 3 marines out in the open probably would not kill that Stalker. iNcontroL not trying to go for the expand, but that was scouted. That was scouted by Kelazhur's SCV, and he knows that the expansion is delayed considerably, so probably he will end up having a couple of his marines in this general vicinity, or even here, to protect his main mineral line. He is already pulling marines back. I don't think he has scouted the proxy Stargate. No, he has not, but he has to suspect an Oracle is on the way. Meanwhile, iNcontroL getting his expansion up, so going to try to nullify the economic advantage of his opponent that he secured early on with that command center first opening, just by making this Oracle, trying to fly into the mineral line and get as many SCV kills as possible. Now, one Oracle can kill as many as 6 marines, but there is There is way too many for it to handle right here. There are 9 Marines protecting the main mineral line, so that will not work out that great. But that also means that the natural base is completely unprotected. Only 1 Marine in that bunker. I don't know if iNcontroL realized that, but that Oracle did end up getting 4 kills. So if we look at the worker count, it is exactly even. That does put the Terran player a little bit ahead, because he does have mules, and iNcontroL is probably going to follow this up with an Oracle gateway bust. Between force fields, zealots, and oracles, he could very well make this happen, but this Stargate, I don't think it will survive long enough to get that second oracle out, or maybe it will with a chrono boost on it. iNcontroL, you are really cutting the line really close here, and well, the oracle does get out and needs to be careful not to get killed. In the meantime, trying to kill more SCVs and units. This will of course benefit the plan that iNcontroL has hatched in his mind, and that is to bust the front with oracles supported by 4 gateways. At least I think this is what is going to happen here. There are missile turrets going up, however, and wow, this oracle, I can't believe it. 11 kills, and it does escape just with 3 hit points, regenerating those shields right now. And this puts an end to it, because if iNcontroL indeed does want to go for that bust, then he needs to save up energy on those oracles right now. Doesn't look like he is going to go for the bust though, because he doesn't have any proxy pylons in the vicinity of the Terran's territory. And Kelazhur, well, he does have his stint back 50% completed, as the Oracle almost gets taken out. Does have 10 kills to his name, so still iNcontroL, keeping the playing field level, and even getting a small advantage for himself by getting ahead in the workers count ever so slightly. But if we look at the income tab, Terran player Kelazhur still mining a little bit more minerals than iNcontroL is. And iNcontroL, does he have any additional tech behind this? No, he doesn't. He's just relying on pure gateway power here. The Stalkers are going to encounter the Marines in the middle of the field. Marines have to be really careful of the force fields here, and they are going to move back, retreating all the way to the Zonaga Tower, and probably every single Marine here will die. If we take a look at the army supply, suddenly it's massively in favor of iNcontroL, who warps in more Stalkers and more sentries and will try to go for a bust here. There are more Marines waiting, and in a little bit of time they will have those medevacs out as a support. Can iNcontroL do this? Kelazhur, well aware of the danger that he is in right now, already positioning his SCVs in the perfect spot to start repairing. Here comes iNcontroL though. Will he be successful? Time Warp going down onto the Marines, preventing the retreat. Bunker trying to be focused down. Those Oracles not helping so far. Here they go, trying to take out the Marines, but Kelazhur very wisely, while he was repairing that bunker, focusing down those 2 Oracles, and right now he should be completely safe versus any kind of follow-up that iNcontroL could mount. iNcontroL knows that this push probably does not have a lot of staying power. That's why he's getting a robo facility behind this, as well as a forge. He knows he needs to start researching those upgrades relatively quickly here. But for the time being, Kelazhur should be very, very safe versus pretty much anything. And once this phase of the game has passed, or will have passed, he suddenly will have the option to be very aggressive with medevac drops. But here we go, iNcontroL trying to go for it again. This time he is successful in taking down the bunker, but the stim has finished. The Marines have stimmed themselves up. The Mothership Core goes down, preventing the retreat of this army. iNcontroL narrowly placing down those force fields, saving the remainder of his army, and it needs to mount a full-on retreat right now because the medevacs are out, and he could get counter-dropped here very, very quickly. Getting his first observer out. The worker count 47 versus 48. Both players playing very, very well. iNcontroL looks like his transition of choice is going to be Colossus. That Mothership Core getting remade instantly. It's still going to be quite some time before that Colossus is out. iNcontroL currently does not even have the gas to start producing one. He is going to save it up though. As soon as that Robo Bay finishes, those Colossi could very well start pouring out of that Robo facility. Meanwhile, a little bit of a counterattack here. 2 Zealots being warped in at the proxy pylon, but these 5 Marines should have no problem killing them off. At the same time, Kelazhur is thinking about engaging the natural expansion here for iNcontroL, very wisely placing down those force fields. Unfortunately, not very precisely. One force field being placed a little bit too far left, and iNcontroL needs to buy time, buy enough time for himself to get this first Colossus out. Thermal Lance is also starting research. iNcontroL, notice, cutting all probes. He needs to devote the entirety of his resources right now to units, but he's all out of force fields. Those were the last remaining force fields, and I don't think this is going to be enough. iNcontrol's units are falling. There goes another warping of 4 Zealots. Photon overcharge initiated. First Colossus is going to pop out, and that might just save iNcontrol's day, but only 3 Stalkers remaining. The first Colossus is out. Focus down immediately. The Marines load up and get away, because there's not that many of them remaining. The Colossus is out, and that would fry them very, very quickly here. Upgrades wise, it is +1 attack versus +1 armor, so the upgrades are even. And right now Kelazhur, realizing that iNcontrol's army is really small, is trying to go for the Doom Drop here, but oh, very nicely leading with the empty medevac, letting them take the brunt of the damage and let him unload the remainder of his forces. Will he be successful though in killing this Colossus? It looks like no. iNcontroL still keeping that Colossus alive. It already has 7 kills to his name. Kelazhur probably going to be attacking the natural as we speak. He does get the 3rd command center up though, continues his upgrades, and his macroing really well, whereas iNcontroL, where well, his resources are starting to pile up just a slightly, just a little bit here. And right now he does have enough units to push this back. Kelazhur even forced to stim, in order not to get caught needlessly in the Colossus fire. And he is starting Viking production though, so he does have enough medevacs currently. 7 medevacs out on the field. Oh my god, that's such a high amount of healing that he does have available to him, as well as being 1-1 on upgrades, starting 2-2 iNcontroL, nowhere near this tech, at least as far as the upgrades go. And here we have the transition into the Twilight Council tech. Probably going to try and get his Templar Archives up relatively quickly here. And oh, Kelazhur sees that probe. He probably knows that there's a 3rd base somewhere in here. Going to try to go for it, going to try to kill it. iNcontroL mounting a defense. Will he be in time? I don't think so. I think a cancel on the Nexus will be necessary. There it goes down. And iNcontroL, well, they could have caught more units there, but the force fields were just a little bit too late. And Kelazhur very wisely not risking necessarily too much there, always staying out of the range of the Colossi, or at least for the majority of the time, allowing him to make very cost-efficient trades. And I think he's just waiting for the +2/+2 to finish, and then he will go for another round of attack. Not really too much of a point trying to attack earlier than this. iNcontroL somehow successfully has gotten this other proxy pylon down. And it looks like Kelazhur trying, after forcing a cancel here, he just might try to check on this location, just in case iNcontroL decided to rebuild that 3rd base there. So he's loading up everything he's got, and he's going for another Doom Drop. This time iNcontroL completely unprepared. There are no cannons here, no Templar to feed back the medevacs, and this drop will unload no problem. iNcontroL anticipating an attack at his 3rd, completely getting caught off guard as Kelazhur unloads all of his units inside the main base of iNcontroL. A emergency warping of Zealots, so right here, Photon overcharge initiated yet again. But iNcontroL having to pull back the entirety of his army and doesn't really know where to go, what to protect. The main Nexus falls. Kelazhur loads up and escapes pretty much unscathed. Okay, I don't know what that Viking landing there was for, but at the same time the 3rd base is under attack. iNcontroL with a very immobile army of Colossi here, trying to protect this location. He cannot afford to lose that Nexus, but those medevacs coming back, dropping all over his units, negating the damage of those Colossi, practically surrounding all of the Protoss units, and this has to be GG here very soon. And there it is, iNcontroL GGing out of the game, Kelazhur taking it. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time in another game.